We all wear a clock on our wrist. It tells us we're late. It tells us we're early. But for one man, his watch began to tell him something else entirely. It started counting down. His name was Ben. And Ben was a man who was always busy. He lived by schedules and deadlines. His old silver wristwatch was his command center. It told him when to wake, when to work, when to sleep. His life was a checklist, and he was racing through it. He was successful by every measure the world cares about. A corner office, a sleek car, his name on a plaque by the door. But in his quietest moments, which were few, he felt a strange emptiness. He was building a life, but he wasn't living one. His relationships were quick phone calls. His hobbies were things he'd get back to one day. He was saving his life for a retirement that was decades away. One Tuesday morning, everything changed. Ben was in a hurry, as always, rushing to a meeting. He glanced at his watch, and he froze. The time was gone. Instead of numbers, the digital screen showed a single line of digits. It was counting down. 02-19-08-15. 2 years, 19 days, 8 hours, and 15 seconds. He shook his wrist, thinking it was a glitch. He tapped the screen, but the numbers kept ticking down, second by relentless second. 02T16. A cold dread washed over him. What did this mean? Was it broken? Or was this something else? He went to watchmakers, to tech specialists. They all said the same thing. The watch is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the mechanism. One old repairman looked him in the eye and said, "Some things, son, aren't a technical problem. They're a message." Ben's life became a prison of that countdown. He'd be in a meeting, but his eyes would drift to his wrist. 00125643. He'd be having dinner, but his mind would be on the numbers. 0012001. It was a constant, terrifying whisper in his ear. You are running out of time. He became paranoid, anxious. He stopped making long-term plans. What was the point if the clock might hit 0? He was living, but he was trapped, watching the sand fall in an hourglass he couldn't turn over. The countdown entered its final month. The numbers felt heavy on his wrist. 00030. He was a ghost in his own life. The corner office felt meaningless. The car was just a machine. The money in his bank account was just paper. None of it could stop the countdown. On the final day, he couldn't take it anymore. He called in sick. He sat in his perfectly furnished apartment, in the crushing silence, and just watched. 00006. That's 3 minutes left. His heart was pounding. He thought about all the years he had wasted, the friends he had neglected, the sunsets he hadn't watched, the laughter he had been too busy for. He had traded his time for things that now felt like dust. 1 minute. He closed his eyes, his breath shallow. He waited for the end, for darkness, for whatever came when the last grain of sand fell. 4, 3, 2, 1. The watch emitted a soft, final beep. A single, gentle beep sounds. Ben sat there, eyes squeezed shut, waiting. After a long moment, he slowly opened them. He was still there. The sun was still shining. The world hadn't ended. Trembling, he looked down at his wrist. The countdown was gone. In its place was a single word, glowing softly on the screen. Now. Ben stared at the word, his mind reeling, and then the meaning washed over him like a wave. It wasn't a countdown to his death. It was a countdown to his wake-up call. The universe, God, fate, whatever you want to call it, had given him a gift, a 2-year warning to shake him from his slumber, to show him that his time was not infinite, that every second was a treasure, not a thing to be spent, but to be lived. He hadn't been counting down to an end. He had been counting down to a new beginning. Ben's story is our story. We're all wearing a watch that is counting down. We just can't see the numbers. We think we have all the time in the world. We postpone joy. We delay love. We put off living for a someday that is not guaranteed. Your watch is ticking. Right now. It is counting down the seconds until what? Until it's too late to mend that relationship. Until your children are grown. Until your own passion has faded. The lesson isn't to live in fear of the end. The lesson is to be fully, completely, gloriously alive in your now. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is this one, this breath, this chance to call someone you love, this opportunity to start that project, this second to look up at the sky and just be grateful you're here to see it. Your time is the most valuable currency you will ever have. Don't trade it all for things that don't matter. Invest it in moments that take your breath away. Look at your own wrist. Feel the pulse of your own heart. That is your countdown. Make every single second count. Your now has already begun.